So, yeah, where should we start? Where should we start? I have some questions, but first, maybe briefly, you can go over um, who you are as a person, where you come from, a little bit of a summary of your story, how you got into crypto, and just, yeah, we carry on from there.
Yeah, sure. How did I get into crypto? Well, I was actually over in Kenya. I mean, of course, I was very much aware of crypto, but how did I really get into it? How did I get obsessed with it? How did I like live and breathe this stuff? Well, I kind of got indoctrinated while I was in the coast of Kenya in a place called Malindi. I got a message, and then I had a call with a friend who actually specialized in blockchain over my university over at UBC, University of British Columbia in Vancouver. And he was telling me that people were using this technology for fundraising. They're funding all kinds of good causes. And I was actually originally in Kenya for clean water projects. I was building biosand water filters. I was teaching people how to make biosand filters and start their own little water businesses. I was always kind of into environmentalism from a young age, but at the time I was doing clean water, and I got involved in all kinds of different I don't know if you've heard of Rotary clubs, but Rotary Club is like a 1.4 million person membership organization. They've been going for over 100 years. I think anyone who's looking to build a community should kind of like you can take a page or two out of the book of Rotary clubs because of they've never been bigger 100 years later. And they do all kinds of philanthropic work, and that included clean water, it included schools, and it also included tree planting. And that's where I learned about mangrove trees, how they can sequester 8 to 10 times the carbon out of the atmosphere. And we were in Paris around the time of ECC. It wasn't for that originally, but we happened to be around there. And right after the conference, there was something called the Sustainable Blockchain Summit, and I heard about it through my brother. He let me know, and he wasn't able to attend himself, and I didn't have a ticket to it, but I just rocked up. And this was like towards the end of the event, and it's just like the networking section session, um and they didn't even ask. They just like I just walked in through the door, and I learned that there's this whole thing called refi, regenerative finance, and people were using the technology for good, for building transparency, for funding what matters at scale. I learned that there's this whole movement, this whole ecosystem of not only grants funding, but impact investment funding, and all these incredible ways to sustainably and scalably make an impact. And before this, I spent 7 years of my life in the nonprofit sector, raising funds for charities, nonprofits in so many different ways. I used to throw music festivals for good causes. I used to sell products. I used to knock on doors, all to raise funds for good causes, hoping that they would be very transparent and efficient with the money. And that turned out to not always be the case. And I, became a little bit disheartened from the nonprofit world. But when I learned about social enterprise, right, about business that fundamentally does good and is very much net good for the world, but is scalable using the forces of business to scale at the same time, like this is when I really like went down this rabbit hole, and I became very curious. I did 500 episodes of Max Impact learning about this stuff, um and yeah, that's how I really kind of like went down the rabbit hole, just been learning, and it's and then we started the tree planting organization, and experienced some real problems on the ground firsthand. And that's when we realized about how blockchain technology could help solve some of these problems and ultimately create a world where anyone can plant trees and earn a living.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, let's turn me on. Let's turn on his camera. Yeah. And so,
There he is. Yo,
yeah,
sick hat, man.
peace. Yeah, it is. It's from the merch store. We're gonna talk
There
about
you
that
go.
later too, maybe. but
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
but either way, so let's tell the people about you. With your world record, and also, um, you know, where you come from. Maybe you don't need to go over your mom's story about her being an activist and whatever, but yeah, for the people who want to know how serious you are, that you are not just in here for to talk, right, but also walk the walk.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I have personally planted more trees in 24 hours than any other human in history. It's an official Guinness World Record. Anyone can go to Google, type in Jimi, like Hendrix, and then Cohen or just Guinness, and you'll see it there. And yeah, 30,469 trees, but that was my third attempt at making this happen. The first attempt, we thought it would be sufficient to have, we have an AI tree counting tool. We thought that that would be sufficient, but the reason that I did this was ultimately to break the next record of most trees planted by any number of people in a day, right? As a movement, and I knew it would be a stepping stone towards doing that. And so that's when I started pushing, to make this an official Guinness World Record. And second attempt, though, it was we were in the scorching hot summer in Kenya planting these trees for 24 hours, right? I had some sponsors and the logos on the t-shirts. We had to wear these shirts, right? But my Kenyan team, they're from Kenya. They were visibly sweating from the face within the first 30 minutes of us going out there to the mangrove fields, right? So you can imagine how hot it was out in the mangrove field. And I was planting and planting, and we're getting like pretty close in like the final like couple hours, and then the camera, because so Guinness didn't think it was safe to actually go to Kenya, so we needed multiple people tallying. We needed to film every single tree that would be planted, and one of the cameras in the last couple hours just shut off. And it overheated. And even though we had a backup camera to continuously film, we had actually the inverter in the camera got fried, and we'd actually lost several gigabytes of footage. So we weren't able to verify at that time. So then third time's the charm. This time I was so determined, so more prepared. I like literally was doing hundreds and hundreds of jumping squats every single day. If I had to go somewhere, I would lunge there. And I had to go get coffee. I lunge at the coffee shop. And so way more prepared physically. I got in the best shape of my life. And then we had, actually set 6 videographers to make sure that we had captured everything. And the actual record was 23,080, but absolutely burst through that. And the number, as I mentioned before, was 30,469 trees. So yeah. And as I had a hunch, this was an incredible stepping stone towards breaking the next record, because when I was at COP29, the many different governments were there, but the Ethiopian government had a pretty prominent booth in the pavilion, and this is the country that set the record. They managed to get 616 million trees planted at the time in a single day, uniting 34 million people. Well, this year we actually, I was on the ground in Ethiopia. We organized the first ever Grow Olympic Games, and we had some decentralized planting rewards as well. And even though the number of people was only 29 million this year, the number of trees that were planted ended up being 714 million trees in a single day. And so that was an incredible milestone. That this is the most trees that we've basically made history doing that. But the goal, the big hairy audacious goal, is actually 1 billion trees in a day, much like the 4 minute mile, where everyone thought it'd be impossible to run an entire mile in 4 minutes. The year that someone did it, dozens of other people did it. And this is, and now tens of thousands of people have, even high school kids, right? And so this is what we're trying to do with 1 billion tree day, accomplishing that as a movement. And Tree Gens is going to be a catalyst for uniting and growing this movement so that we can really make history next World Environment Day. And then that's going to be a chain reaction for many such days to happen, and really regenerate the world in a very scalable way.
That's fire, bro. Totally fire. So very ambitious, and doing something, right? That's the most important thing. I don't want to hear someone else talk and have roadmaps and this and that. If you do what you are doing, I think you can go really far. And as you know, most people know me. I am super keen on preserving the nature, and yeah, everything I do, I work with plants. I sell plants. I'm a landscaper. Here in Sweden, we call it garden master because I plant the gardens for people and I plant for them and I sell the plants and everything else. So that's more what I do for a living. I'm also a farmer. I'm a vegan. Um, I have we have 70 hectares of land. Um, so I'm very keen on the nature. So with that being said, I'm super happy to have found a solid project that resonates with my crypto journey as well. So it's something I'm super excited about. And for everyone else down there, um, in the top, first of all, we need to max engage, guys. I see 11 comments. 11 comments. It's not enough. It's not enough. We can do more. We can grow more. And yeah, I'm trying to learn. Uh, so it's a completely different language is talking here. But for everyone's interest, to keep this short because we are going on the time as well. The time is running, always running. We can't stop time, unfortunately. But also it's a good thing because the token which you are connected to, the TGN or 3gens, I want people to know about that because now they know about you. Up in the top, I have pinned a post I did where you have my referral code. So if you enter that, if you have some USDC in a base wallet, you have approximately 10 hours, a little bit more, 10 hours to get in on the pre-sale on this floor level, right? Before they go live. And still,
That's
if
right.
you, yeah, that's right. And if you add, I think it's still within the first 500, right? Right? For the
Yes,
200
sir. We are
bucks.
still within the first 500, which means we have an insane bonus. We wanted to make this a no-brainer for people. So we have developed, and I have a $100 bounty for anyone who can find a more innovative NFT because I would love to be proven wrong, and I will be buying that instantly if you can find one. But we have developed the most innovative NFT ever made. And basically what it is, it's a dynamic semi-soulbound token. It's also an AI agent. It's coming alive as an AI agent. What I mean by a dynamic semi-soulbound token is, first of all, it's the most dynamic. So it visually levels up in three different ways. There's a light on the mind, there's a light on the heart, which get brighter as you fund and plant trees respectively. And then the base characters evolve like a Pokemon as you stake TGN. So that's the dynamic aspect. When I mean semi-soulbound, even though you can trade the underlying artwork, the characters with their backgrounds, those impact metrics, the lights on the mind and heart, these are non-transferable. So they are overlaid on top of whichever NFT that you've connected to the DApp. And basically, the reason that we built this and we developed this feature in is because we're gamifying tree planting, right? You don't want someone just buying the high score. It wouldn't be a game if you could just do that. And so this is why we are, it's semi-soulbound. The coolest part, though, is that every single one of these NFTs are coming alive as an AI agent. So they're able to make videos, they're able to make memes, they're able to post, they're able to comment, they're able to post on a variety of different platforms to grow the movement, to grow our DAO, and to ultimately onboard more people. And as we move towards an AGI and ASI future, these agents are going to become extremely influential, I think. And what's awesome as well is we've also developed a social fi platform, which actually rewards people every single second. So there's something called Superfluid, which can stream tokens out to people, and you get points. Even though this platform is launching in about 2 weeks' time, you can be getting points right now by posting the $ TGN ticker or tagging us, depending on the real engagement that you get. And since these AI agents, these token-gated AI agents, these NFTs are going to be growing the movement and shilling for you, basically you're going to be able to be earning TGN while you sleep and grow the movement while you sleep and make an impact literally as you are resting. And so yeah, there's only 1,000 of these, and we think they're going to be quite valuable, but we're not selling them right now. We're giving them out for free to anyone who puts in at least 200 to the pre-sale. You also get a .tgn wallet address, which these agents will be able to transact through. So you can tell them to send money to this person, to troll.tgn, for example, and they can send funds to people as well. So that's two NFTs that we think is going to be more valuable than the funds you put into the pre-sale regardless. And so there's that. Plus, of course, you get TGN. And since you buy, if you buy through a referral link, so we built our own launchpad as well. We've been building so much different tech. It's wild. And we were voted first place 3 times on the Gitcoin grants platform as well. But if you buy through the referral link of Troll King, you're going to be getting 10% as a token bonus. So you get an extra 10% of TGN. Plus, Troll King gets rewarded for that as well. But yeah, it's the best deal that we have. You just need USDC on base, use a computer. You need a tiny bit of ETH on base, and boom shakalaka, you're getting in at the ground level, and you're getting 2 digital assets in addition to your TGN, absolutely for free. So let's grow.
Yeah, super bullish, super bullish. And I already have 2 AI NFTs now, so I'm super happy about that. But for everyone else, and also I think Jimmy and I can set it up so even if you, for example, don't have USDC on base, let's say you want to go to your EVM wallet and transfer any token, whether it's BNB or Ethereum or to TG to what is it, to
TGN.eth. Yeah,
TGN.eth.
BNB
Yeah.
is not one of them. It's so we have a bunch of networks connected, yeah, just to make it really easy for people. So if you go to send to TGN.eth, you can send any token you got on the following networks. So there's Arbitrum, there's Base, there's Celo, there's Optimism, there's Polygon, and there's ETH mainnet. So you can send on any of those. They're all connected to the same multi-sig wallets, and will literally bridge for you. And at the time of bridging, that's how many TGN tokens you're gonna get. So let's grow. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a cool one that we built out. And as of our spaces yesterday, I think we're also going to be getting like name.tgn.eth as well for people. So yeah, we're gonna have multiple different cool wallet addresses with varying functionality, and yeah, that's like another NFT. We have so many NFTs, it's wild. I mean, so we have our PFP NFTs, we have the profile pic, the of those profile picture ones. Then there's the .tgn ones, and then there's the ETH.tgn ones, and then every single video in the proof of tree protocol is becoming minted as an NFT video, right? So just for people who aren't too familiar, the way that proof of tree works is anyone can plant trees within the DApp. You film before, you film after. The AI counts exactly how many trees are planted. And then our DAO, which has the staked governance token TGN, then can do some verification. So within the app, they tick 4 boxes, make sure they followed the right planting methodology. Then 95% of the tree tokens that get minted go directly to the planters on the ground, and then 5% go to the verifiers. So when you stake our governance token, you're not just earning more of the same token, you're going to be earning oh nice, I see some little tree gens coming in here. Great to see y'all. You're also earning these ecological credits, right? The first ecological credit is called MGRO, so MGRO. We're tokenizing mangrove trees, and so you can earn those. We're bootstrapping liquidity on it, and that's the first one. But the vision, as I said at the start, is to build a world where anyone can plant trees and earn a living. Mangroves only grow by the coast and by the equator. We're building a liquidity pool for that specific tree type, and our AI is trained for mangroves. But if you plant any tree, it could be an apple tree in your backyard, as long as you film before and after within the application, this can get minted as an NFT, which we will help sell for you. And the currency that people use to buy those NFTs will be TGN. So this is going to create a nice buy pressure on TGN. We're working on some.
Are you there?
There we go. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, you can use TGN. It's the currency of the tree economy to buy those video NFTs. So that is the next NFT asset. So what is that? one, two, three, four different types of NFTs. It's pretty wild. But they all kind of tie in together. They all support one another in creating this beautiful future where we can live in a regenerative world and people can do well while doing good. That's the beautiful part of this is we're backing this with RWAs, the real world assets of carbon credits on chain. It's Actually, the carbon credits won't be on chain, but we're going to bring the funds from them, selling the future value of carbon credits onto the chain to support the liquidity pools of these different tree tokens and governance tokens as well. So that's a bit of a rundown of how we're going to create, sustainable value within them. But I've been on a soapbox for a while, so back to you, Troll King. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You're on limited time, my brother. You are a busy man everywhere, and it's 3G today, so it's not too long till we see this coming alive. I'm super bullish about that. But yeah, the most bullish aspect, because you need to have revenue, you need to get money in. So I wanna let you talk about how you sell carbon credit to companies and how big of a business that is, with that trillions of yearly, uh, you know, um, area
Yeah.
or whatever you say.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. I mean, so today, the compliant and the voluntary carbon market's about 900 billion a year, but it's forecasted to reach 1.6 trillion by the year 2028, which is pretty rapid growth and a massive market. But those funds are not really accessible to the people on the ground. There are a lot of people earning a lot of funds in the carbon markets, sequestering carbon, avoiding emissions. But these funds are pretty, centralized and it's kind of top heavy of where a lot of those rewards are going, whereas the people who are actually doing the thing on the ground, who are the stewards of the land, they're not really benefiting as much from that, and that's what TreeGens is really set out to change. So we partner with the Brazilian Carbon Credit Cooperative. For our initial pilot project, they have 20,000 hectares of land. About 10,000 of that can be regenerated. So that's approximately 100 million mangrove trees, and mangroves can sequester about 0.308 tons per tree. So it's a pretty massive opportunity because even though we're going to be selling the carbon forwards as a discount, right? Because if you plant mangroves, it takes about 25 years to sequester roughly 308 kilograms of carbon. It happens according to a bell curve, right? So the first 5 years, there's not a lot of sequestration that's happening. So there's not a lot of funds which we can leverage to do more of the good thing. But what carbon forwards enable you to do is monetize those in the short term such that you can multiply the trees. We forecasted it's between 5 to 9x how much, potentially even more actually, because now the compliant and the voluntary market are kind of like merging. But so roughly 9x you can multiply the trees every time you sell a carbon forward deal, right? So you imagine you plant 1 million trees, you sell the future value of the carbon, and then you plant 9 million trees. And then you sell the future value of the carbon, and then you plant 81 million trees. And you just keep multiplying and multiplying, these numbers get insane, just 6 carbon forward deals away from getting to the point of 531 billion trees, which is insanely huge, right? And the bottleneck there is partnering with the landowners. And in this case, it is private land, which makes it a lot quicker to do. But there's also partnerships with community landowners and then governments around the world so that we can, leverage those ecological assets to do more of the good thing and ultimately back the tokens with the revenue. And subject to a DAO vote, we can keep multiplying, or we can take a portion of the funds and we can back the tokens. And so bull market, bear market, we can inject external funds into the liquidity of these tokens to really drive the value and ultimately the regenerative activities that are happening on the ground. See, we got Matthew coming up here. Welcome. I mean, Andrew, my bad. Andrew, high five. Oh, here we go. High five.
Yeah, yeah. High
Hey
five in
guys.
there. So Andrew, how are you doing today? Welcome up.
Hey, high five, guys. Hey, I was listening in. I haven't had a whole lot of time to sit and do research and listen into spaces and whatnot, but I've gotten to know Jimmy and Treegens for a while now, and I'd like to throw in on this, but I need some clarification. So you send which tokens to the wallet, and that's one of my questions. But the other question is I'm looking at Troll's link up here. As far as the NFTs go, it said something about first 500. Is that still active, or is there still 500 or some slots left in that 500?
Yes, sir. Yep. So we got slots left in the 500. No worries there. We will be hooking you up regardless. In terms of if you're just sending funds to a crypto wallet, the TGN.eth one, it's literally any token you got that is on a main EVM chain. So again, that's Arbitrum, Base, Celo, Optimism, ETH mainnet. But yeah, if you're using the our own launchpad, which is up there, that referral link, which makes that kind of easy, and that's the way to get the 10% token bonus as well. Then you specifically need USDC on base and like a cent of ETH on base as well. So if you got USDC but not ETH, let me know. I can send you a little bit of ETH if that makes things easy. But yeah, so that's did that answer your question?
Yeah, so I just picked up some USDC on Coinbase, and I can transfer it to a DeFi wallet. But so that'll do.
Yes,
Right on,
brother,
man.
that will do fine. That's all you need to do. The base wallet, whether it's a MetaMask or Trust or whatever you use, hook that up to that link, and it's very easy to just add the amount there. And yeah, you will receive right away 10%, and also I will receive 10%. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And if you rather do it the other way, right, like we said before, just send it to that tgn.eth wallet in your MetaMask or whatever you do. And you need to DM me, and with that transaction we can set up a chat with Jimmy, and he can give it to us manually. But it's less
Hey,
hassle
I'm
if you
going to
prove.
interrupt here. Sorry, there's a huge echo, so it's difficult to understand what you're saying. Can you
Oh, sir,
repeat some of that?
I don't know, is it better now?
Sounds good for me.
Might be on my end. I'm in the middle of the Delaware River on a boat, so it's might be on my end.
All right, but you were
Yeah,
good. If you get that USDC on the Coinbase, send it to your MetaMask or your Trust wallet or whatever you use, EVM wallet, um, on the base network, and some ETH on the base network, and then just go to that link, hook it up, and enter the value. It will be pretty simple yeah, definitely, and you get 10% right away.